Hey guys! Okay, so if you remember, last time we were in Ruth, we talked about Boaz's kindness, and it was Ruth 2, 1 through 7, and just how down to earth he was and what a kind person he is. And so this week, we're going to finish out Ruth. It's going to be Ruth 8 through 23, 2, 8 through 23, and I'm just going to read it to you real quick. It reads, Then Boaz said unto Ruth, Hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither pass from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee? And when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels, and drink of which the young men have drawn. Then she fell on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and said unto him, Why have I found favor in thy sight, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a foreigner? And Boaz answered and said unto her, I have fully been shown me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thy husband. And thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of thy nativity, and art come into a people that knowest not heretofore. Jehovah recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of Jehovah, the God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to take refuge. Then she said, Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken kindly unto thy handmaid, though I may not be as one of thy handmaidens. And at mealtime Boaz said unto her, Come hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and they reached her parched grain, and she did eat, and was sufficed, and left thereof. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, Let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not. And also pull out some for her from the bundles, and leave it, and let her glean, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned into the field until even, and she beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up, and went into the city. And her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and brought forth, and gave it to her which she had left after she was sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, Where hast thou gleaned today? And where hast thou wrought? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, This same man who I have wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, Blessed be he of Jehovah, who hath not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, The man is nigh of kin unto us, one of our near kinsmen. And Ruth the Moabitess said, Yea, he said unto me, that I shall keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth her daughter-in-law, It is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of barley harvest and wheat harvest, and she dwelt with her mother-in-law. Okay. Now, some people would look at this passage and they would try to tear it apart, and they would look for every single meaning of every word, and let's go get the original Hebrew text, because I don't know what an ephah is, and I don't understand this, and I don't understand that. Like, what are these Hebrew words? But this text stands on its own. Like, what you need to know about this text is just understanding what the English words are. If you can understand the basic vocabulary of this text, you understand that the kindness of Boaz, allowing Ruth to be on his field, and being able to glean so much and to take so much and reap so much, and then you understand that Naomi is just so happy that it was Boaz that Ruth was able to meet, and that it was Boaz that Ruth was able to glean from. Like, you see the goodness in this, and you see the kindness of Boaz. So you don't have to be able to read Hebrew to see God in this. God was the one who placed Ruth in that field, and God was the one who gave Boaz the heart he did, and God is the one who gave Ruth the heart he did for this to happen. God planned this, and that's the cool thing about this, and that's what you should get out of this part of the text, that God's in there, God planned this, and there's so much goodness in what is in this text. Like, you don't have to know Hebrew, and you don't have to know what an ephah is, but if you're curious, it's on Wikipedia. Like, so many times we look at a text in the Bible and we want to tear it apart bit by bit, and we want to understand every single word of it and every single possible meaning of every word from the original text that there could be. And honestly, so many times when we do that, we're missing what God is trying to tell us in the text. Like, it's all there. We just have to be able to open our eyes to see it. And I was just as guilty as other people. Like, I love understanding everything, and I enjoy knowing what an ephah is, which is a tenth of a homer, which is just over a bushel, by the way, if you're curious like I am. This text, it's so easy to get caught up in that. But see, God's simple. We make him complicated. Like, all we have to do to please God is love him and follow him with all our heart, and to spend time with him. We're the ones that make it so complicated and, come up with thousands of Bible studies and thousands of reasons not to, and thousands, just reason after reason. And not saying that it's not difficult to follow God, because it can be, but we're the ones who make it difficult. So, next time you're reading your Bible and you think you're misunderstanding the text, try reading it from the perspective of a child, because a child wouldn't think any more of it than what they're reading on the page. Think of it like that, because God told us to have the faith of a child, and I think that's definitely what is included. So, have a good week, and I'd love to hear from you.